Sobering statistics tonight. New data from Harris County Health shows cases of HIV and other sexually transmitted infections are on the rise in our area and rising faster than anywhere else in Texas.
We're not in a fair fight. We're already outmatched and outgunned at all points.
I believe that it is quite highly possible that the AIDS virus is a result of genetic warfare testing.
It came from a private sector laboratory for money, because when they find the pill that you can take to let you do it again, somebody's going to make some money.
First it was Atlanta, and now it's Houston? No one seems to be safe among the rising rates of STDs and HIV among Black people. And now Katt Williams is saying none of this is a coincidence. It's by design. Here's the thing about Houston. The STD rates are bad, and Houston is not just worse than the rest of Texas, but HIV rates in Houston are actually higher than the national average. And the people catching the worst of it? Black and brown folks. But according to Katt, these rates aren't just a sad statistic. They're the result of something much, much sinister. Let's break this down.
If you went on spring break in Houston, Texas, you might want to get tested. 28,000 people currently have HIV in Houston, Texas. 40,000 people currently tested positive for STDs in total.
Imagine 42,000 people coming back from spring break with an STD. And spring break is just 1 week. Well, that's exactly what happened to folks who went to Houston for spring break. And that's just the ones who got tested.
42,000 people. Do you know how many that is? And there's other people who haven't even gotten tested who I got back from spring break, they're just like, oh, well, I don't have that on my lip, or oh, I don't have no symptom of burning or itching or any bumps in my mouth or any bumps down there or anywhere like that. Like, do you not realize that there's people out there that could have HIV and don't care to give it to somebody because they just want to do what they want to do and they want to live their life, because to them it's like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I can live with this, someone else can. Baby, that's 42,000 people.
But y'all, it gets worse. This man is going viral for allegedly testing positive for every single STD available on the test. And that's after he vacationed in Houston for spring break. Now, first of all, have these people heard of protection? And why are y'all so desperate to sleep with strangers anyway? Because when you look at the numbers, trust me, it's not worth it. Now, I want you to take a look at the stats really quick, because the whole reason we're even having this conversation is that the data is genuinely wild. A recent federal government report revealed that the national HIV incidence rate is about 11.4 per 100,000 people. In Texas as a whole, it's 15.7 per 100,000. That's already higher than the national average. But Houston's incidence rate is between 21.6 and 25.6 per 100,000. That's more than double the national average.
The highest rates of new HIV cases were seen in Montrose, followed by the second ward, and then Setgast. Although the sexually transmitted infections are found in basically every demographic in Harris County, the study found that there is one population that is testing positive for them more frequently.
Particular Black women. So Black women who are heterosexual are frequently getting STIs at a higher rate than other groups.
And it's the same story with the prevalence of people already living with HIV. Nationally, it's about 308 per 100,000. Texas is 327, but in Houston, it's between 464 and 566. So if you're in Houston, you're statistically way more likely to be exposed to it than pretty much anywhere else in the country. And the numbers show that Black folks in Houston and across the country are catching it at way higher rates than everybody else, disproportionately higher. The CDC will tell you that, so no debate there. Now, the official explanation is usually something like lack of education, poor healthcare access, or high-risk behaviors. Basically, they make it sound like a series of unfortunate accidents and bad personal choices. But here's what Katt Williams is saying. He's saying that lack of education, poor healthcare, and promiscuous behavior are not a coincidence. He's saying it's by design.
They know where to look. You probably wonder, why do white people pay so much attention to Black people if they don't like them? You would think if you didn't like something, why would you be paying attention to it? I don't pay attention to things I don't like.
By the way, Katt previously said something similar about the fentanyl epidemic, pointing out that black people are dying from fentanyl ODs more than others, but they're not the ones who are actually producing and distributing it.
I'm gonna tell you a statistic that's gonna blow your mind. There are 0 niggas making fentanyl. Look at white people. What?
Now let's talk about what Katt actually means when he says this is all by design when it comes to black folks catching it. What he's saying is that the question shouldn't be, are our people making bad choices? The question should be, who set up the board so those were the only choices available? Katt's been in the industry for decades, and when he says this stuff is intentional, he's telling you what he watched happen in real time. Katt has been saying for years that the entertainment industry, especially rap and hip hop, has been hijacked and used to destroy black communities from the inside. Think about it. Who owns all the major labels? All of them are run by white executives, always have been. These companies sign black artists, market them to black audiences, and make billions of dollars off the content. But here's the catch. They don't just sell music, they sell a lifestyle.
Even like in the rap world, like all of the rappers that you know that never been to jail and never got in any trouble with the law, but they talk as if their life is opposite of that. Like, those are federal informants, like, you know.
You think they're really out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of the job, is to acquire those. It's like saying, you know, if you're playing chess, do you have any pawns? You have to, don't you? You can't start without them.
Now think about what gets promoted in mainstream rap. What gets pushed to the top of the charts? Lyrics that promote promiscuity, pimp culture, aggression, substance use, gang lifestyle. And of course, nobody's holding a gun to anyone's head and making them listen to this. But when this is the only thing that gets funding, the only thing that gets pushed by the algorithm, the only thing that labels will invest in, what choice do young artists have? You either make the degrading content or you don't eat. And here's the really twisted part. The executives who push this content, they don't live in the neighborhoods they're selling to. They live in gated communities. Their kids go to private school. They're not out there living the lifestyle they're profiting off of. They're just collecting the checks while the communities that consume the content fall apart. And this is what Katt's been trying to warn about for years. He's called out the industry to their faces. And what happened? They blackballed him, called him crazy, bitter, jealous. So if you spend decades telling young black men and women that promiscuity is a status symbol, that using protection isn't cool, that women are disposable, what do you think happens to STD rates? It's not a mystery, it's cause and effect. And that's exactly how they designed it. But here's where the rabbit hole goes even deeper. A banned Will Smith interview just resurfaced that's been scrubbed off air for over 2 decades, where Will accused the government of using AIDS as a weapon to target black communities. Will didn't drop hints. He said it on camera, sitting across from Barbara Walters all the way back in 1998.
You know what I'm getting at? I read that you felt that the government was deliberately spraying cold germs in subways, was deliberately trying to make people ill with the AIDS virus. This is pretty serious stuff. Do you really feel that?
I believe that it is quite highly possible that the AIDS virus is a result of genetic warfare testing.
By American agents?
Absolutely.
Well, why
am I a conspiracy theorist? I'm a conspiracy theorist, all right.
But what really hits different is how Will told Barbara, they're gonna chase me after this.
Oh, that's a serious one. Okay, so I got it now, because people are gonna chase me after this. People are gonna chase me.
Some would say this was the last time we saw the real Will Smith, but that's a topic for another video. Let's go back to this theory that it was deliberately spread among communities. Remember the Tuskegee experiment? For 40 years, from 1932 to 1972, the Public Health Service ran an experiment on 600 black men in Alabama. They told them they were being treated for bad blood, but they were actually being studied to see what untreated syphilis would do to the human body.
In 1932, the United States Public Health Service launched an unethical research project to examine the effects of untreated syphilis. The project was called the Tuskegee Study because it recruited 600 black men living in Tuskegee, Alabama. Researchers told the men that they were being treated for bad blood.
And when a cure came out, the government hid it from these men and kept watching. They even promised free burials so the families wouldn't ask questions.
They promised the men free medical treatment if they participated. While 2/3 of the men in the study were confirmed to have syphilis, not one received proper treatment for the disease they had contracted.
More than 100 men died. Some went blind, their families were infected, and nobody said a thing until a whistleblower came forward and leaked information to the press. So when Katt says this stuff is by design, he's not guessing. He's looking at the receipts. And it goes beyond the US too. White European colonizers in South Africa literally admitted they deliberately spread AIDS to black Africans.
Pretending to inoculate people and that type of thing.
The idea being to kill black people?
Yeah, to eradicate black people. You must understand the concept was that AIDS was a killer. It was incurable at that point in time, so it was led to believe that if you infected people, it was the quick, non-militaristic approach to eliminate black people.
And that is something you know for a fact, that AIDS was actively being spread to other countries?
Yes, to African countries. We were at war. Black people in South Africa were the enemy.
But so it was about white supremacy?
Definitely. Definitely trying to retain the white supremacy on the African continent.
So you start to see a pattern here. The same people in power who already admitted to experimenting on black folks and deliberately infecting them. You really think they just stopped? Maybe they're not doing it the same way anymore. Maybe now it's promoting a certain lifestyle through the music industry, pulling funding from schools in certain neighborhoods, making sure healthcare is just out of reach for the people who need it most. Same result, different method. That's exactly what Katt's been saying about those HIV statistics. It's not a coincidence. It's never been a coincidence. And look, you can call it a conspiracy if you want, but history has a funny way of taking the wildest conspiracy theories and turning them into things we learned in school. Tuskegee, MK Ultra, Operation Mockingbird, they all sounded crazy until the files got declassified. But I want to know what you think. What's really behind the Houston STD epidemic? And do you agree with Katt that this is all by design to target certain communities? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.